Polka Dot Stingray are back again with a new song which is called Killer Record. I have no idea what to expect from this. This came out a couple of weeks ago actually, which was right in the middle of when I was doing a lot of packing up of my stuff, to come on this exciting journey that I'm on right now. And so I didn't have a chance to catch this at the time. So a couple of weeks old now, but Polka Dot Stingray are one of those groups who you always kind of feel the need to come back to and see what they're doing. And especially since their return last year when they came back, they've been seeming to ride a wave of real creativity. So given that the first frame of this is two, I see those as fox ears. Are those fox ears? I have no idea what to expect, but I definitely have to check this out. Obviously, Polka Dot Stingray often purveyors of the most catchy, funky music. So let's see what they've got for us here with this new song, Killer Record. And then we'll talk about it more afterwards. That is not the direction I expected that to go in a cave. Love that build up with the piano, but this is like, that's a screechy sounding guitar. It's a pizza record. Loving the build up. That's just a lovely smooth melody there. So this song is definitely built into, like, it's just got this ongoing groove. I'm wondering if it's going to do any deviations, but I'm loving it. Breakdown in the second verse. Okay. I feel like everyone involved in making this song and this video were having so much fun. Is that a cup noodle product placement there? The energy of this is so infectious. You know, this is one of those ones where you could... I'm actually quite impressed by how much this is done in 3 minutes. Listen to all those layers of sound though. Oh, key change in the last 10 seconds. Yeah, okay, that has a lot. That is a song with a lot to say. Oh yeah, let's leave the credits on the screen. Always leave the credits on the screen. That's all the credits, okay. That is a song that has a lot to do. And yet the weird thing is that I feel like the reason why this is so incredibly immediately likable, first of all, I have to add the video was brilliant. Really enjoyed how the video was done. But this is a song that is clearly, it's based around one funky core. Like the timbre of the song barely changes from beginning to the end. You get little bits like the second verse where stuff drops out a little bit and then comes back. But as a general, it kicks off with this really interesting. Well, the intro is nice, very lo-fi, and then it comes in with that guitar riff, which is very screechy and kind of grabs your attention. Not screechy in a bad way, but I'm glad it was just a short bit because it kind of grabs your attention, and then you get into what the song's actually about for pretty much its entire runtime, which is this beautiful, funky sound. You got like again, it's one of those songs where it's not that one instrument's doing something super clever, but what it is that the syncopation of all the instruments together, the way they bounce off each other rhythmically, really great. The piano, the bass, the drums, the guitars, these are all working beautifully together along with the vocals. It's just this kind of... And then once it sets into that jam, that rhythm, that core, it just kind of keeps that going. Yeah, you have a chorus vocal melody. Yeah, you have verse melodies for the vocals and everything. But basically, it's all just kind of building on this core. And like any song that has a kind of a central core sound that doesn't change hugely, kind of like the same thing you'd say for something which was like a rap track. You've got a central core thesis and you're just kind of adjusting it by changing a little bit the melody over the top, the rhythm over the top of the vocals, having little bits drop in and out from the backing. For something like that to get to the end without doing any major changes and still have you pretty excited to rewind and press play again and listen to it a second time, as this does for me, suggests that you created a really interesting bed of sound there. You produced a sound that was really interesting and exciting and gets you hooked and makes you want to come back around and listen again. I mean, the funny thing is, if you've ever been to a jam session where musicians will just sort of start playing together, and obviously they can't go off in wild deviations because everyone's kind of playing together and making it up as they go along. That's what I mean by jam, everyone's just making it up as they go along. That's something where whatever they're playing will have a basic thing that keeps on going. But as a result, it has to be something where it's interesting and it's exciting. It can't be something that just becomes a boring motif that's repeated. And that's a surprisingly difficult thing to pull off. And, so for me, this was just a really interesting chord that they kept going. Now, funny enough, just before I recorded this reaction, I actually recorded a reaction for the latest Seventh Vega song. And I had a similar thing to say about that, actually. That landed in a very similar place to me. Although, surprisingly, I felt the song was structured very differently from this, but the end result was still a song that felt like it was more about just having this beautifully layered group of sounds built with a nice infectious rhythm. And so it's really cool, actually. I didn't think of the connection, but I think about bands like Seventh Vega and Polka Dot Stingray, and they're very different in a lot of ways. And yet, I'd love to hear them both play live together, at the same set, because I feel like these sounds are very complementary. So interestingly enough, as I said when I was talking about Seventh Vega in that previous video, there is rooms for bands like this who are not they're not heavy bands, they're not pop bands, they're kind of in this kind of alt, indie, low distortion kind of area. I really enjoy these bands who are bringing an extra sense of funkiness to that, and Polka Dot Stingray always have been. This is something they've been doing for a while, but I feel like in this most recent incarnation of the band, they've been doing it with a real sense of glee and joy, and that comes across a lot in this video. This video is just a ton of fun. I mean, wherever you stop, with exception to that one frame, wherever you stop the mouse, I'm sure you're going to see something which is going to be colourful, bright, kind of a little bit silly, a little bit fun. This is a video that's just sort of oozing with a sense of playfulness. That is one way to look at a disc, I'll tell you that right now. It's oozing with a sense of playfulness, and genuinely like this. Genuinely like this a lot. Thought it was really fun. It's going to be one of those ones where I think about, am I going to come back and repeat listen to this song? I think of all of the Polka Dot Stingray songs I know, this is probably not the one that I would think of as being the most immediate, I have to come back and repeat listen to that super catchy kind of song. But instead, I would say this is the kind of song where I enjoyed it so much that it's definitely going to find its way onto a playlist. Ironically, the same thing I said about the last Seventh Vega song. And every time it comes up on that playlist, I'm going to enjoy it because it just works. It's effective in what it does. Whilst it's playing through your headphones, this is a really good time. Not the sort of song that's going to stand out for doing anything different or catchy that's going to make you think, that's the song I'm going to go to first, but definitely a song that will grace any playlist beautifully. And again, just great, really glad to see Polka Dot Stingray continuing this journey of theirs at being on top of their game. So anyway, those are my thoughts, as always. Get in the comments, tell me what you think, and until I hopefully see you very soon for the next one of these. For now, ciao, ciao.